Many thanks for choosing us. The National Disaster Management Organization in the Northeast region has confirmed more than 400 people are displaced and one person killed after a rainstorm hit 8 communities in the West Mamprusi municipality. The deceased is a 6-year-old girl who died in her sleep after a building collapsed on her. 6 others, including a pregnant woman, were also injured in the incident. The storm also destroyed over 5 school buildings, including the Walewale Senior High School. The victims, as well as authorities in the municipality, are calling on the National Disaster Management Authority to come to their aid. Correspondent Eliasa Tanko reports.
The affected communities include the municipal capital, Walewale, Bimsi, Wulugu, Nayoko, Gagbini, Diani, and Katabanawa. The storm destroyed 81 houses, resulting in the displacement of 434 people in the 8 affected communities in the municipality. One of the buildings collapsed on 8 occupants in the Walewale township, killing a 6-year-old girl and leaving her pregnant mother and siblings with varying extents of injuries. The child has since been buried after police and medical examinations were conducted. The mother of the deceased, Ayi Ali, who had her waist smashed by a falling object, narrates to Joy News how she and her 4 other children escaped the fury of the storm.
The
roofing caved in on us while we were asleep. I rushed to the rescue of my children. It was already too late for my 6-year-old girl. The others also suffered injuries, and I also had a hit on my waist by a falling object. Her husband, Alhaji Abdallah Bakari, a devoted Muslim, described the incident as the will of Allah, which he said has been accepted unconditionally. He has, however, called for support to fix his destroyed property.
As of now, the risk has risen price. Burden is raised, everything raised the money, so it can help get help. It's better.
The storm also destroyed about 5 school buildings, including the Walewale Senior High School, which has lost about 3 classrooms and part of the school wall pulled down. The headmaster of the school, Ibrahim Sibiam, says the incident has affected effective academic activities while making an open plea for urgent assistance.
If we get it immediate, it will be good. In that the classrooms, as you went round, the roof, they are ripped off, and we don't have lights in those classrooms. So where we have also sent them is a temporary place where there's no light, is abandoned. So they cannot have preps in the evening. Even if we want them to come to the classrooms that have light, they will be choked. The classrooms there won't be space to accommodate them. So if we get it immediately renovated and lights restored, academic work will go on very well.
The rainstorm also caused damage to the St. Joseph Primary School, Walewale Presby, and another primary school in Wulugu, and several others across the municipality. The assemblyman for the Nayilifon, whose electoral area has been hard hit, appealed for support for the victims, as well as to urgently fix the damaged school blocks.
Most of the houses that have been ripped up, looking at the current conditions of life, if we do not support them, some of them are going to be very distressful. So I therefore call on authorities and NADMO to urgently come to the aid, particularly the school, so that the children can get sufficient and enough spaces to be able to continue their studies in the school.
Many of the affected communities who are well-to-do have begun to fix their properties after days of no response from the National Disaster Management Organization in the municipality. But those who are less capable still await a helping hand from NADMO. The National Disaster Management Organization in the region, however, says it is still conducting an assessment of the disaster to plan a response. The regional director of the organization, Alasan John Kweku, spoke to Joy News.
I'm sure by tomorrow the assessment will have been done, because we've gone more than halfway. And as I speak to you now, our men are currently on the ground doing the assessment. And then with regards to those who are displaced, the communities are dotted. We have our relatives and our family members dotted around. So people have decided to go and stay with their family members, and I don't think we have a problem with that. And those who have challenges or issues with regards to where to put up themselves, NADMO is ready to find a temporary place for them.
Although the organization is yet to come to the aid of victims of previous weather-related incidents which occurred in different parts of the region due to its overwhelming operational and material challenges, the regional director insists the organization is capable of discharging its duties of preventing and managing disasters in the region.
This is not the first time that we're experiencing such a disaster. It has happened before. And then NADMO, I can assure you that we are more than prepared to deal with any eventuality that will arise as a result of this rains and then the disasters that we are anticipating.
From Nalergo, Ilyasu Tanko, reporting for Joy News.
We can get on to Zoom now and speak with Northeast Regional Correspondent Ilyasu Tanko for more. Ilyasu, what is the current situation? Has NADMO distributed relief items to the affected people yet? Ilyasu?
Not as I speak to you right now. Yes, Aisha, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Go ahead.
Yes, so to your question, Aisha, I can say that no, there have not been any relief items for these victims. What is really troubling this morning is that the schools that have been affected, the pupils are not able to go to school. Yesterday, we know that we are in the rainy season. As a result of that, anytime that is threatening to rain, because the rainstorm have devastated the classrooms, the teachers are compelled to ask their children to go home. This morning, we are also experiencing likely that there will be rains today. My checks in schools reveal that the teachers are preparing to let these children go back to their houses. And those that have also been affected, 400 people as I speak to you now, some of them are living with family and friends. And they are still calling for the disaster management organization to come to their aid.
What's the explanation given to you by the national, the NADMO, reason why relief items has not reached the affected people?
Well, this is not the first time that NADMO has not been able to come to or go to the assistance of people who need their assistance. But on this particular issue, they are telling me that 8 communities are affected, and so some of the communities are far away. They will need time to go into these communities to make the assessment before they come out or plan response. So the NADMO saying that they are still assessing the situation, not done the assessment yet, and until they are done, they will not be able to send relief items to these victims.
So they have they given you timelines when they will finish with the assessment so they can distribute relief items to these people?
Well, there have not been timelines given. The regional director that I spoke to yesterday told me that the assessment is ongoing, categorically said that it will continue this morning. But as a timeline, they have not given timelines. They do not know when they will finish with the assessment and when they will deliver relief items to these victims.
So how are school authorities managing? You spoke about the fact that it's affecting school activities.
Well, like I said, this is not the first time. There are schools that have been ripped up previously, and they are yet to be roofed, or they are yet to fix. For instance, in the Tinguru area, there was a rainstorm last 2 months, and that particular school, the school in that particular community have been ripped up, and also in the community, the school has been ripped up, and several other communities, Wulugu as well. All these schools have not been fixed yet, and so authorities are calling on the NADMO officials in here to come to their aid. Like I said, what they are doing currently now is to dismiss the children anytime it's threatening to rain, because the school building have been destroyed. And so currently this is what they are doing. They are vigorously appealing to NADMO officials to come to their aid.
Elias Tanko is our correspondent in the Northeast region. We are still trying to get the Northeast Regional Director of the NADMO. All right, so thankfully he has joined us. I'm grateful for your time, sir. Why has relief items still not reached the affected victims in these 8 communities? Hello.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon. You are on Joy News today, and I'm asking why victims of the rainstorm have not still received relief items from NADMO.
Come again.
What has been the challenge for NADMO to distribute relief items to these 8 communities that were affected?
You know, when the disaster occurred, what you need to do is to get onto the field, do some assessment to know the number of people who are affected. And so yesterday and today, we're on the ground trying to help those who are stranded to get a place to lay them, put up themselves. And then, you know, we are living in a community where people have their relatives, dotted around. So some of them have decided to go and stay with their relatives. And then also we are taking stock of the damage that has been caused so that we can effectively deal with the situation. It's not the matter that NADMO is not doing its work. We are doing our work. And as I speak to you now, our men are still on the ground trying to know exactly what has happened to the people so that we will be able to help them out of that situation.
Now, you say you're doing an assessment so that you can be able to distribute the items. How long will it take you to do the assessment, knowing very well that, for instance, school activities
what has happened is not only one community, it's about 8 communities that are affected. And then you have a house where part of a room is ripped off, and then another house where one room, part of a room is collapsed. So you need to put all these figures together to be able to determine what they are actually needed, and then we can help them out of the situation.
So, do we know how long this will take?
Oh, I'm sure within the shortest possible time the assessment would have been done. You know, we have to also forward this to Accra.
You heard that. And in the interim, school activities are being affected. Is there something you can do so whilst you do the assessment, school activities can still go on?
Well, the schools authorities too are also assisting. If you had the Walewale secondary school headmaster, they've found a temporary place for the students to be doing their studies. But the challenge was that maybe there's no light there. So we are putting up our heads together to see how we can deal with this particular situation.
I'm grateful for your time. Alasan Kweku John is Northeast Regional Director of NADMO. Now, the Accra-bound end of the Tema motorway has been open to vehicular traffic a little over 24 hours since the final work on the bridge was done. The opening came off early Friday morning in the fulfillment of an earlier promise by the Ghana Highways Authority to that effect and to ease the traffic which has frustrated commuters plying that route. Joy News' Michael Ashale has been interacting with highway engineer Emmanuel Odailai on the next phase of the work on the motorway.
Actually, like you rightly said, one component of the deck got distressed and which will result in collapsing, and so we find it prudent to quickly come in to put in an intervention, and that's exactly what we have done.
Great. So let me ask about the concrete. Now that's the conversation right now. That is it fully cured? Can we trust it to last just as long as what people call the Kwame Nkrumah motorway?
Yeah, I mean basically concrete undergoes the curing process, and it can be hastened, and that's the hastening process by adding an additive. And the additive is what we've added to allow the curing process to hasten, and so Yesterday, we took what we call the cube, a portion of a sample to the lab, which has been crushed, and it's overwhelming with the strength that was achieved. It just went over the anticipated strength. We wanted 40 and it's over 60. And so we are happy that yes, what we have on the ground is okay. And apart from that, we have to increase the reinforcement. Past it was 12 mm reinforcement that was used, but now we have to go 16. And then the spacing, we have to reduce it. And then increase, all the engineering, we put in all the necessary engineering features that will allow.
And still on our roads, road traffic accidents for the first half of 2022 have seen a significant decline as compared to the same period in 2021. The success is attributed to intensified sensitization and media advocacy campaigns. The multimedia group, especially Joy News, has been spearheading safety campaigns in its bid to reduce the carnage on our roads. Acting Director General of the National Road Safety Authority, Engineer David Osafo-Adonting, says such campaigns have contributed hugely to the success recorded so far. Before we get to Mr. Adonting, my colleague Kofi J from our research desk joins us via Zoom for a breakdown on the road traffic accidents. And Kofi, what is the summary of the recorded accidents for January 2022 as compared to the same period last year?
Right. So, Aisha, when we talk about road accidents, so usually we look at 5 indicators. The first being the total, reported cases, then vehicles involved, persons killed, persons injured, and then pedestrian knockdowns. And so looking at the figures from the reports, you could see that all these 5 indicators have seen a decline as far as this same period, that's January to May 2022, and then we're comparing it to that of 2021. We've seen a decline in all these indicators. So if you look at reported cases, for instance, there were 6,472 reported cases within the same period this year, and there was a decline to 6,789. If you look at vehicles involved, 10,858 this year, and then 11,676 in last year. Then the most important one probably is the persons killed. Involved in this number of accidents. We had 1,140 this year, and then 1,250 last year. And so, if you do a simple mathematical, percentage change, you'll see that reported cases have declined by 4.6%. That's very significant. And vehicles involved have also declined by 7%. And then persons who were injured during the process has also declined by 4.98%. Pedestrian knockdowns also declined by 4.94%. And the biggest component, which is the biggest decline amongst these indicators, is the number of persons killed during this period, a decline, of 8% within the period that we are talking about, Aisha.
Kofi is with our research desk. We can now go live and speak with Acting Director General of the National Road Safety Authority, Engineer David Osafo-Adonting. Grateful for your time. Mr. Adonting, this is really heartwarming to hear, but how did we achieve this?
Thank you very much, my dear, and good afternoon to you and to all Ghanaians listening to us this afternoon. Indeed, the past 3 years, the National Road Safety Authority, as you're aware, we have not been very comfortable at all in terms of the crashes, injuries, and the deaths, which we call DID. The figures compared to previous years have been growing to the extent that we recorded 2,924 deaths in last year, the year 2020, coming to 2021 and all that. We could see that figures were, rising so high, and we needed to do something drastic. Now, what we thought of first is to move to our framework, develop a campaign, and to bring everybody along with that. And the campaign which we launched, of course, in partnership with multimedia, is Arrive Alive. Now, this Arrive Alive took off, and then we had to even strengthen it up to stay alive, this time bringing on board all other media and social media groups, our advocates, NGOs, civil society organizations, and this time particularly, apart from the media work, brought our enforcement agencies to add up to the education. Previous campaigns have been all of awareness creation, but this time, whilst we were doing the awareness creation, the police were behind us and also enforcing the law. And I believe if you remember what they call the war against indiscipline, we all decided to then minimize the level of indiscipline among drivers in particular and motorcycle riders. The two happen to be the contributory factors to the crashes that were swelling our figures up. And I'm very, very confident and happy to say that the Stay Alive campaign, which we work together with the media, has done the trick, has done the magic. It is very motivating, very exciting, and very refreshing that working together as a team is what we must continue to do, especially led by the media. And here, let me commend the media in particular. Multimedia, your initiative, we following up, and all the rest coming on board across the nation, I think it's what I can attribute to the success story we are all envisaging now.
So what do you intend to do, I mean, in terms of ensuring that figures recorded on our roads are further reduced?
We need to sustain this effort. I think it came as a result of hard work from all of us. Multimedia, don't go and sleep. So continue on the safe drive approach. It's very good. We commend you, and we will join hands with you at all times. Now, we are calling on all the media groups, media stations also to come on board like they did. But this time around, we are not just going to look at the media. We are bringing the police very, very strongly also on board again to scale up their enforcement activity. If you can see, some cameras have already been installed, and they are doing some magic for us. But the police are able to see, identify, and detect these infractions on the road, and they apprehend and they prosecute the offenders. We are told that very soon they are going to spread out and populate the road space with more of these cameras, this time even extending to the highway, where the crashes are happening more because of the speed and the wrongful overtaking. We are also, the National Road Safety Authority, going to step up our activities as regards ensuring compliance with standards by road safety stakeholders, the road agencies, the DBLA, and all the other agencies to do more than they are doing now. For example, we expect all the street lights that is being controlled and managed by the Ministry of Energy for them to also step up so that our roads can now be lit. We can see in the night clearly. We are going to engage all the stakeholders and even the private sector to remove disabled vehicles, which has been one of our challenges even in the past number of years. We are also then going to engage the transport operators, the GPRTUs, the Protuas, and the rest, this time to put mechanisms in place that will see their drivers go through mandatory refresher training, road safety training, and even beyond that, use electronic systems to track their drivers, to monitor their behavior in real time. I think these are measures that are coming up that I believe that will come to support our capacity to sustain the gains we are making now. Grateful for your time this afternoon. Adontain is the acting director of the National Road Safety Authority. Now, the Hajj Board has led a team to inspect the multi-purpose terminal at Tamale International Airport ahead of the airlifting of 1,736 pilgrims from Tamale to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The first flight departs Monday, June 20. The new terminal is to enhance the departure formalities of would-be pilgrims at the airport instead of the Aliu Mahama Sports Stadium, which used to be the place in previous years.
The team inspected the check-in area and the departure area and other facilities at the terminal. Speaking to the media after the inspection, a member of the Hajj Board, Farouk Hamza, said they were satisfied with the work done so far at the facility.
I think we are here today together with the stakeholders in the aviation space to ascertain for ourselves the state of readiness of the new Hajj terminal, or the multi-purpose terminal that has just been constructed by government here at the Tamale International Airport. And indeed, we are impressed with what we have seen. We are convinced that the place is very much ready for the Hajj operations this year. Our focus is on the multi-purpose terminal, because the main airport itself is still under construction. It's not ready for use. But the multi-purpose terminal, or the Hajj terminal, is actually what we are going to use for the operations this year, early next week. And to that extent, that one is ready, very much ready. What I do remember is that they talked about the lighting situation out front, and that has been taken on board by the
open space.
Yes.
It wasn't too good in terms of security. People could move.
Well, I think we are doing this in conjunction with all the security agencies. So I don't see much of an issue there. If it is the fact that the place is open or is exposed, it is not new. Hajj terminals, even in Saudi, are very much open in the same way. So it is not a big issue. As long as the integrity of the place is, assured, pilgrims will go through the check-in, get to the sterile area without interference by non-travelers, then it is very much okay to go.
He said even though the facility is designed to accommodate up to 800 people at a time, only 350 seats are available for now, adding that adjustments will be made to accommodate the rest of the pilgrims.
The area that we looked at has enough capacity to take up to 800 passengers at a time, except that the seating arrangement made presently is for 350 passengers. So we are going to augment the seats with more seats to be able to take care of the extra 80 or so passengers, because our flight capacity is about 433 per flight.
Chairman of the Hajj Agents Union, Alhaji Al-Hassan Zakaria, said even though there were few challenges, he believes it will not hinder the progress of work.
For what we have seen is satisfaction. We can manage it for the meantime. We can use the facility for the meantime. Even though there are some patches of things that to go, but we can use it. It's just a minor patches. Electrician, sealing cars, then so forth. It doesn't go to the main things that can affect the movement of the Hajjis. Well, new things, such it has challenges, but we will go with it. I mean, there are people who are to go around with them and show them what to do and not to do. So I think we are within
The Renovated National Museum of Ghana currently has in its possession cars used by two of Ghana's former presidents and a host eye-catching historical artifacts that tell the Ghanaian story in a fascinating manner. My colleague Joseph Akable got access to walk through the gallery and gives you an idea of why you must visit this store of rich Ghanaian culture.
Part of the roof started falling down. And so to be able to protect life and property, then leadership decided to close it down to be able to do the renovation works. And so when I came, the place was closed down. And so we decided to work on. And so by God's grace, this is what we've been able to do. And the president reopened it.
The exhibition is titled Unity in Diversity. And as diverse as we are, we have several ethnic groups with different cultural practices and ways of living. The museum seeks to promote who we are, bring us together as one, so that when someone comes in, the person will first understand who we are as Ghanaians, our heritage, our history, where we've come from and where we aspire to be in the nearest future. So this is a museum of ethnography, art and archaeology, and the collections here speak to various aspects of our heritage.
Nala se na se bi go tumwo na kweku na da be wo hia we ya kwekwe. Ntumanda la yalma. Ntumara la yalma. Didi mala yalma.
Those vehicles were used by the Mercedes-Benz, the Land Cruiser, the limousine, the Nissan Petrol. They were used by former President Kufuor. But the Cadillac was used by the late President Kwame Nkrumah. Yes. And so we in the near future, what we intend to do is to have an automobile museum with former president vehicles. We have a lot that we are going to work on. And so the vision is that in the near future, we are going to have a proper automobile museum that when you enter, you have different types of vehicles used by our former heads of states. Yes. So we entreat all Ghanaians to come to the National Museum. And you see, I also want to entreat Ghanaians to come. When you go to the Western world, we have people going to the museum to donate, both in cash and in kind, and all sorts of other things. And so we entreat all Ghanaians to come to the National Museum and donate.
We're still live on Joy News today. We'll take a break. When we return, we have all the latest coming from the world of business.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The Ministry of Finance has signed a buyer's credit agreement with the Export and Import Bank of India to establish an assembling plant within 18 months. The 24.9 million cedi facility will assemble tractors, backhoe loaders, and fabricate Agric implements. According to the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, the plant will make machineries more accessible to actors along the Agric value chain. Here's more in this report. Bank of India is funding government to establish an assembling plant to make equipment for the Agric sector. Speaking at the signing ceremony, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta disclosed that training will be given to Ghanaians to empower them in operating a tractor assembling plant.
Government in India, represented by Exim India, is providing government of a 24.98 million facility for the establishment of an assembly plant for tractors, backhoe loaders, and fabrication agriculture implements. And this is to be done by Action Construction. So the intention is to bring farm machinery within the reach of small and marginal farmers, popularizing Agric machinery such as power tillers, tractors, backhoe loaders, power reapers, power pumps, paddy threshers, among others. The implementation of the projects will start after the signing of the agreement in line with the project implementation schedule. The construction and installation of the project's plants and machinery and other civil works is expected to be completed within 18 months, including training from India.
Resident representatives of Export-Import Bank of India, Ganapathy Selva Kumar, said the agreement signed is to strengthen ties between Ghana and India, as well as develop the Agric link between both countries.
India has made great strides in agriculture sector, and we have reached a kind of expertise in this area that we can contribute, or even our technology and our equipments are up well. It can perform quite a lot and can provide at a very cheaper rate compared to any other agricultural similar companies which can offer, and therefore this will bring a game changer for the people of Ghana.
Meanwhile, Director for Policy, Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation Directorate at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Richard Chumesi Ankra, lauded the initiative and described it as timely to support the Planting for Food and Jobs program and mechanization agenda.
These initiatives, apart from the huge investment on the government pairs, also challenged the frequent breakdown of this machinery due to over-reliance on foreign products that are not able to adapt to tough terrain of spare parts where farmers those who own the tractors are not able to access. It is in this regard that the Ministry of Food and Agriculture sees the establishment of an assembly plant for the local assembly of agricultural tractors and machinery as a major contributing factor to the success of the Planting for Food and Jobs program.
Action Construction Equipment Limited, an Indian assembling company, is expanding into Ghana. President for International Business Division, Naresh Chandra Soral, reveals the projected production capacity of his outfit.
This is 4,500 tractors a year, 100 backhoe loaders, and 6,000 disc harrow and disc plow, and 3,000 tripper trailers. That's the capacity.
We'll have some more business stories for you on the marketplace at the top of the hour. My name is Daryl Kwao. Sports is up next.
And at least 3 people have been injured in a gas explosion in Kumasi. Our man, Kwesi Deborah, is standing by for us. Kwesi Deborah, what more can you tell us about this explosion? Hello, Kwesi Deborah. All right, so we'll be going to Kwesi Deborah, who is monitoring an explosion at the shoe factory in Kumasi. He'll be bringing us more. Kwesi Deborah, if you can hear me, where did this happen? What time? What triggered it?
Hello.
Hello, Kwesi Deborah. You're live on Joy News today. Tell me more about what happened before the explosion.
Okay, so around 11 there. So let me tell you a bit about the area. The area is a Tonsu shoe factory area. And within it, they have several factories. So you have a polytank factory and also a rubber bottle factory. What happened is that around the 11, when they were offloading the gas into one of their cylinders, it caught fire. And so the section which houses the most of the polytanks got burnt. That's about almost half of the factory. And also several polytanks also got burnt. And you have about 2 cars which got burnt. And that's a briefing that we had from the regional fire commander.
We've been told that 3 persons have been injured. What's their condition as we speak?
Okay, so initially when they got injured, about 2 people were discharged. So it was level 1 person. That's what we were told. I'm yet to find out about the condition of the other person since they are still trying to douse around the area. So for now, I can't really tell you about the condition of the other person. But we heard earlier that the person was responding to treatment.
And the area, Has the place been put to order? Has the fire been doused by the fire service personnel?
So initially it was cordoned off because many people wanted to get inside, and of course it was very dangerous for people to enter. So, but now since the fire has been doused almost a bit, the people have gone inside, and of course they're trying to get a sight of what really took place.
Kwesi Deborah is a man in Kumasi at the shoe factory where there's this explosion leading to 3 people injuring, and he says that 2 of them have been discharged and the other is responding to treatment. We'll bring you more in our subsequent bulletins. And that'll be it for the bulletin this afternoon. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. Log on to myjournline.com. Over there, there's more of our news and updates of all our developing stories. Enjoy the rest of our programs.